Hello, everyone. It is Susan Gerbic, and I am back again to evaluate one of Matt Fraser's readings. We're going to do a Matt Fraser readings reviewed, and I have a co-host with me today. This is her first time co-hosting with me. This is Evelyn. Evelyn, tell everybody hello and who you are.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Sharp. I'm actually Susan's cousin, so I'm very excited to get to do this with her. I live in St. Louis, Missouri, and I guess that's about it.
Well, tell me, you got to participate in Operation Gobble Gotcha. How
I
many
did.
how many days did you go to? Three, four?
I did three.
So there's
I did 3 days.
So that's 27 readings.
Yes. During part of it, it was pretty brutal.
So she's listened to 27 readings, you guys. And I don't know, I must be in a couple hundred or more, maybe three or 400 by now. But so Evelyn, you and I have only got to know each other over the last 5 years or so when I
Yes.
started going to St. Louis and I found you. And yes, we're actually very close cousins in DNA.
Right.
So if people notice a similarity, yeah, we're closely related. So this is not a world that you were into before, the whole skepticism or even
Oh,
psychics. I mean, do you have any experience in the psychic world, like
um,
having readings, knowing anything about it, or
I've had a couple readings.
what kind?
Um,
Were they like tarot readings or
I've had a
palmistry?
couple tarot readings.
Mm-hmm.
I like to go like to Savannah and to New Orleans. And I mean, these cities, go down to New Orleans and Jackson Square is just one big long line of tarot readers,
Yeah.
And so I always thought it was just kind of fun
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And in my experience, it was very hit and miss. Sometimes they would get something right, and then sometimes I'm like, wow, your spirits were way off.
But you hadn't done anything like mediumship like this.
No, I have not.
And most of the women who've helped with Operation Gobble Gotcha, that's exactly the same thing. What was your impression of mediumship from what you knew? Just, I mean, what are the names of the mediums you've heard of before that were like on TV and stuff?
I mean, like Sylvia Brown, John Edwards,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, different ones, Teresa Caputo, uh, with big hair,
Mm-hmm.
uh, just different ones,
So
you
you
know.
have heard of them
So, I
before.
mean, I have heard of them, and you would see them like on Johnny Carson and all this, where they're giving their predictions for the next year and everything that's going to happen, and then it didn't.
What was your impression of, was it like, what'd you think of that when you saw it on mainstream TV? Would you think was it real? What do you think?
I mean, it definitely gives those people some credibility. I mean, when you're putting them out there like that, like they really know what they're doing, and then you keep inviting this person back to your show every year, like you believe this person actually is, credible, but I don't think I ever really saw them as like real credible, but it does make you think, okay, maybe there is something to this until you just really, really start listening to them and really start really thinking about it.
Right. So you thought there must be something to it because the media is giving them
Oh yeah. I mean,
authority. So
right.
why would Johnny Carson or Montel Williams or Stephen what's his name, Larry King?
Larry King. I
Yeah,
mean, you see,
why would they have him on the show and then have him on repeatedly if it was not real?
right. You see them in magazines and, National Enquirer, of course, that's just trash. But then you would see them in other magazines, and you're like, why are they giving these people so much air?
Good question. Probably because they make a lot of money
Yes,
for whatever the media is, I guess.
I
Eyeball.
guess.
Yeah. So I think also personally, I think that the media doesn't understand that there's harm. And I think they think of it as that
Just
these people are helping and that it's entertainment, and that people probably know that, oh, it's just for fun. I don't think they think, because until they get into readings like you and I are going to do today and what's on our channel, I don't think they realize that there's a deeper, darker side to what happens. And they just see, it's fun and frivolous, I guess.
I guess, but I mean, when you see that, like someone who is paid for multiple readings, in a way, it's almost like, I mean, it's some sort of borders on an addiction or something, like I don't know. I don't know if you could like really relate it to like a gambling addiction or something like that, but it just seems like, plus then, like you said, it's, a lot of the times it's led by their grief.
Yeah, my boyfriend used to say that psychics were the poor man's therapy.
Yes,
Chance to
can
have
see
somebody
that.
who's talking to you about you, and it's kind of an ego boosting thing too. So uh, Matt Fraser is not somebody that you're going to be able to get a reading with. This is like luck. These people are
Exactly.
taking the law of barely anybody's going to get a reading. I think we can reveal now there's 1,500 people in this event. So to get into the waiting room, which you did.
I did get into the waiting room
And what
once.
did you see in that waiting room? It's a special area they put you in.
I mean, I could see kind of off to the side of the screen, I could see several other people.
Mhm.
Um, and I think at one time there was once I could see like 8 other people, but I could never really just figure out if that was all that was in the waiting room at that time or if that's just all I could see.
Right. And it's they're thumbnails, so you can see them
Yeah, they're
moving.
little
You just can't
thumbnails.
hear them, but you can see them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what Matt can see. So
Hmm.
so what happens, you guys, is you go to these gallery readings, you pay $27. $5 goes to the people who are running the website. $22 goes to Matt Fraser. There's 1,500 people there, so that's $33,000 for an hour and a half. And then during the reading, while you're watching the reading, you put your hand up, the little Zoom hand, if you want to get a reading. And then from those people with their hands up, somebody, I don't think it's Matt because it's happening while Matt's busy doing something else.
Hmm.
So his production team, his manager, I don't know, somebody goes through and selects people that they think fit the whatever, I mean, it's female, obviously, and have a certain kind of look, like maybe they're nodding in a certain way, or they're crying, or they're really into it. And then they send them a notice saying, would you like to participate? And it comes up on your screen, and you have to click that. And if you click that, then you go into a waiting area, which, as Evelyn said, I think we're seeing maybe 8 to 10 people that are in there waiting. And then Matt sees that screen and he's watching the people in there. He can't hear them, but he can see them in small thumbnails. And that's where he picks the next person from. And then that is the person that gets the reading. So that's what we learned doing this over and over and over again.
And I think it's obviously someone in his staff doing some of the picking because whenever I got the message, do I want to participate? It was in the middle of one of his readings. So, he's got to have
Yeah.
someone else
Somebody's
doing.
making the decision to weed
Hmm.
it down to 8 or
Right.
so people that he chooses. And he doesn't click on the people. We can watch him and his hands are, like maybe on
Hmm.
screen, and he'll say, okay, now I want to go over to Maria. And then that will all of a sudden, then it'll come up with somebody named Maria. So somebody on the production team is actually doing the clicking. So,
Right.
so Matt's not doing, he's got $33,000
He
profit.
he can
Profit.
afford someone to click for him.
I think he can handle somebody click the screen. Yeah, and it's mostly he's got to pay the web hosting, the webinar hosting, and he's got to pay for whoever's on a production team, and that's really it. There's not.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's other costs if he makes the videos smaller, and he cuts them up, or and his advertising. and his website, stuff like that. But to put on one of these gallery readings at his house, he's home
Hmm.
with
Yeah,
his
because his cats are
babies.
there.
Yeah, his cats are there, and so it's just a corner of his house. I mean, that's super profitable, and you could be home with your now three babies. So I don't know, Evelyn, we're in the wrong business.
I know, Suzanne. Susan, we need to like come up with
I don't think I
some.
have the ethics that I
Yeah,
don't
I don't think I
I
do
think I
either.
have ethics, and I don't, and I think you do too. I think it'd be very difficult. Well, yeah, impossible now. All right, so let's get over to this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show this video. Now, what I'm going to be doing is the video I have is going to have words on it, and I've taken them from the transcription, so that should be pretty good. And that'll appear underneath the video. So that should help you guys out, because what Evelyn and I are watching, oh, it started. What Evelyn and I are watching is a live video with, not live, uh un unredacted video. We're going to be able to see these people clearly, whereas you guys watching this video are going to see a blur on the people's faces, and their names are going to be hidden, and that's just to protect their privacy. So, but Matt will be nice and clear. So Evelyn, my job is to stop often and make comments, and people who are watching this, please leave comments in the comment area underneath this video, because what I see, what Evelyn sees, you guys might hear something completely different. I don't know. And so what I'm going to show you first, you'll see a very quick second of, or a couple seconds of, is Matt and two other women. There's two screens. And it's because Matt's finishing with one reading, and now he's going to go to the next reading, which is what Evelyn and I will analyze. So I'm trying to show the whole thing. I want everybody to see everything, not it look like I'm cutting things out. So we're going to start with that. And so you'll see Matt and two other women on the screen and two different Zoom screens. Ignore that. We're going to move on. So let me get to the audio. You ready? And
Yes.
then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right away whenever we get to the actual people he's doing the sitting, and I'm going to have you describe who these people are, what they look like, give me a guess, because it's blurred for everybody else, and they're not going to be able to see it really as clearly as you and I will. Okay, and so here we go.
I also, at the
Thank
same
you,
time, I
Matt.
want to go over to Debbie Dent as well. Can we go over there? That's so cool. I love when people are here with multiple people. Like, for example, if you're here with your mom and she's on a different screen or in a different part of the country or the world, the loved ones on the other side know this, and they know that you're here together. Debbie, where are you guys?
We're in Virginia.
Oh, perfect. I'm happy that you're here.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right there, Evelyn. Give the audience an idea of what it is we're looking at. This was recorded December 20th, 2025, and you and I are recording this on January 30th, 2026. So what are we looking at there?
Okay, well, there's two women that are sitting side by side. It looks like they're probably in dining room chairs or something,
Mhm.
because you can kind of see the wooden backs.
Oh, you
Other
can
than
see the
that,
chandelier in the mirror.
you can see the chandelier
Yeah, I just saw that.
reflecting in the mirror. I mean, other than that, you don't really see a whole lot to give you a lot of hints regarding like maybe the personality of their home or anything like that, Like, you're sitting there and you can see all your bookshelves and stuff behind you. So, you assume that you're a reader and just different things, but there's nothing behind them to really give us any kind of clues to go off of. Um, She's an older lady. She looks like she's probably, I mean, what do you think, in her 70s or
Mid
possibly
to late
older?
70s,
Yeah.
probably. That's Debbie seems to be the
Yeah.
one.
Debbie is
She's in
the
dark
older
blue.
lady.
She's in
Yeah.
dark blue.
Just wearing kind of a plain dark blue. Then the other lady, and he referred to her as her daughter.
Did he?
He did. He said,
No, I don't think
or he
so.
said something about here with your mom. So
Oh
maybe
no,
I
he was talking about
misunderstood
the other
that.
people, the people
Oh,
who
the
just
other
left.
people. Okay. So, but I watched this a couple times and I never really figured out. I think that is her daughter, but I don't think they ever specifically say that. I mean, you can kind of see a resemblance there between them.
Yeah.
She looks like she's probably in her late 40s, early 50s,
Yeah,
somewhere,
probably in her mid 50s, something like that.
you
She's
know.
got, what is that around her neck? Is that like headphones that are just dangling there, or maybe the kind of thing you wear around the woman in white? It's something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe has a pair of glasses hanging off of them or
Mm.
something. I don't know. Um, she looks like she's wearing a sweatshirt with some writing on it, but I can't really. It looks like it says happy something, but
I think it says Merry Christmas.
or oh, that could be because it was Christmas time when we watched that. So yeah,
Yeah, which means they're not Jewish,
right. So
but
that's a
most
good
of the
hint.
people, but rarely do we get any Jewish people
So,
Matt Fraser's show.
but there's just really not a lot there to pick up any clues about, other than the Merry Christmas on the sweatshirt,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
think it's mother daughter. I think just looking at
So, like I
their
said, they do kind of resemble. So I do kind
yeah,
of think it's mother daughter.
and it's typical. It's Christmas time. I would think they'd be together, and that seems kind of natural.
Right.
Yeah. So Matt, going with the well, one of the things we learned, everybody, whenever we did so many of these readings, is Matt usually he's going in cold. So this is a cold reading. He does not know who these people are. He has not researched them ahead of time. These are cold readings. And so when you go in cold, and Matt has done thousands of readings over his years. So this isn't, it's going to look very natural and very fluid how he does this. But because we've seen so many, when he's faced with somebody who is, about this age group, so somebody in their 70s and 50s, he's likely to pick a person who's died. Is his opening line is usually going to be a parent, because the woman in blue, Debbie, the dark blue, her parents are not going to be alive probably at this point. Unlike, the odds are not high, right, Evelyn?
Right.
Yeah, so she's probably has a person who's died that is, her grandparents are definitely dead, but her grandparents would be so far removed from the woman in white that it would, I don't know if it'd make a great reading. So I predict, and it's been a while since I've seen this. I didn't look at this since December, I think. I think that Matt's opening line is going to be a parent has died, though his choices are parent, grandparent, or some sort of mystery person. Those are the only things that Matt usually opens with. So I'm guessing parent, and you know the answer because you've watched this a couple times, but I don't know the answer. So you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. We'll stop often.
All right. Right away when I'm connecting, I can give it I'm the father, I'm the father.
Ha!
So when I'm connecting, that was your dad that departed?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's also a soul that's coming through as well when I'm speaking that's keeps telling me they had dementia or Alzheimer's.
My grandfather.
Okay. Was that his dad? Do you know?
Yes. Yes.
Because know that they're together on the other side. I kept hearing.
See how he's he's asking questions. She gave him the answer. He said the father, which is, he didn't say, Debbie, it's your father.
He just said father and waited for one of those two to respond.
Exactly. Because it could have been the woman in white, could have said, oh, my dad is here. Right. And he didn't say that. He just said, so I'm getting father, who's the father? And then he says, who has Alzheimer's? And she says, oh, that would be my grandfather. And he says, oh, is that your dad's father? So, Matt's asking all the questions. They're just, answering. So far, Matt's really just asking questions. But I got it. I called it.
Yeah. So right now, I guess there's two souls there. There's the father and the grandfather.
Right. And one has dementia or Alzheimer's.
Which was the grandfather.
Her father's father. And that's as far as we got. Okay,
These
here we
two
go.
souls I hear. And wait a minute, there's also a name that's who's Phil?
Bill. That was my uncle's son.
That passed?
Yes.
Okay. That soul's also here. That's crazy. I just got the chills because I just kept hearing, you're never gonna believe it, Phil's here, Phil's here.
Matt has got the
please know
chills
that soul
so
also
often.
made it to the other side.
I can't even, I've seen this so many times. He's constantly getting the chills. This guy's got, he better get a heating pad or something because he's,
But now he's got three souls there.
yeah. And you know what's unusual, Evelyn, is that he said a name so early on in the reading because he usually waits. If he does a name, it's usually later in the reading, like he's just got some time to kill. Phil's a pretty common name.
Plus, yeah, here's something I thought of. If Phil didn't exactly work, he could easily pivot to like Bill or Will or, he could rhyme it with something
Oh,
and say, oh, I couldn't really hear the spirit clearly because,
mhm.
we've seen him kind of do something like that.
It's also a last name, Philip,
Yep.
Phillips or whatever. So, I mean, he could have, so if it had hit a last name, it's not any Phillipsons or anything like that. No, I guess not. So it's just Phil. But yeah, it is kind of early on to be getting a name like that, but it is a very common name. Phil, Philip, and like you said, and it could be a rhyming name too. So I don't know why he did that, but I guess he wanted to look like he's specific. You know what? If he had hit on it, if her dad's name is Philip, that would have been amazing.
That would have been,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a cousin.
Yeah, and it's also it would have been amazing, but it wouldn't have been that amazing because it is a common name. I mean, it's like John or Mark or Robert or something.
And the looks on their faces are just kind of ho hum. They didn't get like real excited about Phil being there.
Yeah, some guy. I mean, the woman in white was kind of confused, like, who?
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about how many family members Debbie has that could be dead. There's probably a lot. So, they're in Virginia, huh? So, yeah, she's probably got lots of family members. So, there's probably lots of people who could have been named, but I don't know. All right, let's go on.
That name and is acknowledging that in spirit. I got to tell you that when I'm connecting, your dad is here on the other side. When I'm speaking to this man, he is so happy to come through because first of all, he did not believe like in this when he was here, like did not believe in like coming through, speaking from the afterlife, speaking in this way. And he's here to let you know that he is here and that he's fine. But also what's concerning to me is when I'm connecting with this man, he also was telling me that when he was alive, he suffered from circulation issues here in this world. And right away, he shows me about literally losing the use of my legs. I keep feeling all of my legs having issues here in this world. And your dad is telling me that when he was here, he tried to ignore it. But over the course of time, he tells me that it started to affect his body in multiple ways. He actually is whispering to me that he had many heart attacks when he was here. And I feel as though that he didn't tell anyone about them or you didn't know to the severity.
Yeah, he had open heart surgery, quadruple bypass twice.
Okay. Well, what I hear is 3 times. Did you know if he had 3 separate heart attacks or if he had 3 mini heart attacks?
He did have heart attacks, but he actually had two major surgeries.
Okay, 2 major surgeries. Do you know if there were 3? I just am trying to figure out where this is. Do you know if there were 3, excuse me, 3 heart attacks in general or in close proximity?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And 2 of them he had surgeries for, correct?
Right.
That would be why. Because your dad said to me that he was very.
All right, Evelyn, I don't know a lot about this kind of health stuff. Maybe you do, but I think isn't the number one killer of males in Western countries heart disease,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
followed by cancer?
definitely one of the biggest killers of men,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty safe bet to say, or, guess that there was a heart attack. And,
Yeah, I'm not too
I,
impressed.
I thought it was, he seemed pretty, dead set on making it 3
Yeah,
instead of
why is
2.
that? Just go with the 2. She's already admitted to 2.
Yeah, I mean, she gave that up. She's the
Mm-hmm.
one that gave up that information. She's the one that said he had had 2 surgeries. So Matt
Major
didn't
surgeries.
come up with that. She came up with that.
And the circulation thing, and I mean, I
That's
think that's fairly common when you're very,
with heart failure, it's very common side effect is to have circulation issues.
and then he was losing his use of his legs. I think most people right before they die, unless they have a sudden death, like in a car or something, they're going to lose some movement. Well,
Right.
maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like a guess. And why in the heck is the father talking about this kind of stuff anyway? I mean, here's dad. He's got his daughter and his granddaughter sitting there, and he wants to talk about his circulation issues. I mean, Matt's going to say, well, this is his evidence that he's here. And it's like, well, why don't you just tell us what his name is, Matt?
He knows Phil's name. How come we don't know dad's name or grandpa's name?
Yeah, why doesn't he say, hey, it's hey daughter, hey granddaughter, name the granddaughter. It's your dad. It's me, Frank, who used to live at 506 North First Street, or or something. It's just,
Yeah. But
he can say, but he's not. He's just talking about his circulatory problems. That's pretty vague. They're not very engaged, as you said, except for the part
they're
where she talked about the heart surgery.
just kind of, he hasn't really, to me, hit on anything that's just made them, he's not giving them chills.
Right.
He
And
may have the chills, but they're not having chills.
yeah, and I'm not having chills. I don't know about you, but you know what? I asked this question a lot of my co-hosts. So do you think, and I don't remember, like I said, you've seen this before me more than I have. I don't know how many times these people have been here. It might be their first time. I don't know. But do you think these two women came to this event today on this, well, on the 20th of December, because they wanted to have a certain person come through, or are they just there just because they, think it's fun and they want to see if Matt pulls anybody up? Do you think they have somebody in mind?
She had somebody in mind.
Okay, so you do know that.
I
Okay.
do know that. We'll see that a little later on.
So she seems kind of blah about her dad coming through, and Phil, I mean, he's just totally, forget him. Nobody cares about that.
Right.
And grandpa doesn't seem to be, they just seem very blah about the whole thing. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Well,
okay,
it seems like
yeah,
Grandpa and Phil have kind of just faded back off into the wherever they came from. And
they're here, but they're not here. Okay.
and now, Dad has nothing better to talk about at the moment than his poor health.
Circulatory.
So
Yeah. And then he
I
had
think
three heart attacks, not two.
if I were to come back from the dead, I think I would have better things to talk about.
Hell, I'd be all
Like,
over
oh my gosh, what
politics.
have you guys been doing or whatever?
I'd be all over politics, and I'd be telling them, hey, you know what? The stock I want you to buy next,
Exactly.
there's lottery numbers. Go buy the property at the end of town because it's about to, there's going to be oil discovered on it, or I don't know. Certainly wouldn't be talking about my how many heart attacks, arguing with them. Okay, all right, let's go on. So you know better than I do. This is not ringing a bell at all to me.
Lucky that he got to live as long as he did and to recover as much as he did. Because he says to me, like, the first time he went in, he talks about him being fine. Second time, like, he tells me when I'm connecting with him that, like, when he was here, even though everybody was all scared, everybody was nervous about him, everybody was concerned about him, your dad said to me, I knew what to expect. I knew that I was going to be okay. But that last surgery, that last issue that he had, he said to me, I already had put my heart through so much. I know what he's telling me, actually. Hold on. Your dad tells me he knew he was going to die. He knew he was going to pass. Wow. He said to me that whole year, he wasn't feeling himself. And he tells me that he would tell, let me just hear the visions that he's telling me.
Hear the vision?
Oh, yeah.
He's literally, because I'm asking him, well, how do you know this? And he tells me, Matt, I couldn't get around like I used to. He talks about, like,
that's a really good point. And I think we don't emphasize that enough. He's hearing
the vision, and then at the one point when he says he's listening to Dad, they had kind of looked like they were sort of zoning out,
mm-hmm.
And he kind of paused and looked at him, I think, just kind of, trying to gauge where he was or what he needed to do. And then all of a sudden, the vision starts talking to him.
If I was Matt, I'd start on a mystery person about now, because these two ladies are not into this at all.
No,
it's
they
to
look
me,
bored.
yeah. it feels like they're just going, yeah, yeah, dad. Yeah, whatever, dad. Come on,
Hmm.
let's go on with this. Come on, Matt, hurry up and get to the person I want because this is not where I want to be. Which it fascinates me. If you could really communicate with the dead and who's somebody who's giving you evidence that they really are there, I'd be floored if it was my first grade teacher. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
But
But
it's just like, not the one dead person I want to hear from.
but they just seem like even when he says your dad knew he was going to die, they were just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
And and people might not be able to tell very easily, but they are shaking their head as Matt is saying things, like very small shakes in agreement. But it's more like, does that make sense to you? Or can you understand what I'm talking about? Or am I confusing you? Not in agreement necessarily with what he's
Just
saying.
I think it's just they're just kind of listening. It's to me it looks like they're not really agreeing. They're just kind of like listening, like I think hoping to hear something better. Like
Poor Matt. Poor Matt. I feel so sorry for him. Not okay. So let's go over. They're still on dad. Okay.
Literally, his legs shaking. He talks about like feeling winded when he went from like here to there, or having to take different breaks throughout the day. Do you understand that?
Yes.
But was your mom also alive at the time?
She'll be 90 next week.
Okay.
Boom.
Because see, so
okay,
kind of
this
spirit that
Boom.
your mom didn't want to accept this.
Wow. That's a
he
miss.
had to ask if mom was alive at the time.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
mean, what dad didn't say anything
Yeah.
about.
That was a risky move he made, but I mean, it's likely that mom would be dead. I mean, she's in her 70s.
No, she's in her
Debbie,
90s.
no,
The lady just said she'll
Debbie's
be
in her 70s.
right.
So,
But she
yeah.
said mom will be 90 next week. But
So
yeah,
she,
that was kind of a so I
yeah.
guess but then if mom was dead, wouldn't her and dad be hanging out together in the afterlife?
Well,
Wouldn't
I don't know, Evelyn.
I mean would I don't
I'm
know,
not so sure about
maybe
that.
they were divorced and they
I've
just
got an ex-husband. I'm not sure I'm going to be hanging out too much with him. That no, that's low on my list of things I'm going to be doing. But well, okay, let's be fair to play devil's advocate. If mom is not yet dead, then Matt was confused. He didn't see her over there. So he wasn't quite sure if she wasn't over there
well,
or he just couldn't see her because she's busy doing bingo in heaven or something. I don't know. Or not hanging out with dad. But you would think dad would have said something. He
right.
would say, I'm here. He talked about, well, Phil's there
Yeah. I mean,
and his
even if
other
mom's
husband.
not right there with them, he may have said, you may want to know your mom is okay.
Yeah, she's here
Or,
with me too.
don't worry about mom,
We're gonna have dinner next week and we got
you know,
reservations at a heaven with a nice view of
go
Earth
to
or
choir
something.
practice together or whatever you
Yeah.
do in heaven.
My gosh. Yeah, I would say this is probably a miss, but I guess somebody could make an excuse that Matt wasn't clear about she might just not be there at that moment and dad isn't mentioning her. Well, why wouldn't dad say he's talking about his circulatory problems and heart attacks and why wouldn't he say I'm worried about mom, she's my wife, I'm watching over her, it'll be soon before she shows up, or I don't know, it seems like that would have been the thing he would have said to these people, not talking about his heart attacks. He would have said, I'm here, I can't believe I'm here because I've always been a skeptical, which most of the men are, and said, I wanted to reach out to I'm glad to see you guys, but I want to hear about my wife. I'm really watching over her. I'm very concerned about my dear loving wife that's going to be turning 90 soon. He would have
Right.
he would have done that. He wouldn't be talking about his legs and how his legs are shaking. That's silly.
But then they gave up the information to Matt that mom is still alive. So
Right,
now
that's true.
there's one more fact that he has that he didn't have before.
Mhm.
So now he knows that mom is still on Earth.
Right, right. Okay, so let's see what happens with that. Here we go.
And I see that the reason why he hung on so deeply was because he's showing me visions of him telling your mom, like, I'm not feeling that good. Like, I don't think, that my heart's only gonna last for so long. And your mom, he tells me, was literally a bull. She would run circles around your dad. And I literally see him tossing him around, like, you're fine, get in the car, let's go. Get in the car, do this. And like I see at one point he had to have a walker. He's talking about having to have a walker or some type of a cane. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And your mom was pissed about this because she's like, he doesn't need this walker. Like, he doesn't need this cane. Like, literally, like, I see them fighting and him being like, no, I need this. Like, no, I need to have this. And he said to me that the hardest thing was that your mom didn't want to accept the fact that he was dying, like, did not want to accept the fact that he was passing. She knew he was very sick. She knew that he was that, what he had was serious. But I think it was like her protecting herself, like not wanting to accept it. Does that make sense?
Okay,
Yeah.
he asked,
So
does
your
that make
dad said to
sense?
me
Well, that
that what
doesn't mean that that was right. My impression of just watching this a little bit, and you know better than I do because you've seen the ending of this. These two are, I don't think dad had a walker at the end. I don't think dad had a wheelchair or a cane because they were just like not really
Like,
engaging at all. They might
no,
not even be married. Why does Matt assuming that he's even having conversations with his wife? I mean, he says, my wife didn't believe me when I told her that I wasn't feeling well. We don't know that they're even still together at the point before he died.
right. And I mean, through all of this, still, I mean, like the younger lady once kind of had a little bit of a smile, but overall, there's not a whole lot of facial expressions going on here. So
Mhm.
here we are 4.5 minutes into this reading, and he still hasn't like had a really hard hit with anything that looked like it was just really resonating with them,
Right.
you
I
know,
totally agree.
or making them, you know, excited to get to talk to their dad or
Yeah,
grandma, you know.
they're not interested at all. You know what really bothers me is that Matt does this a lot. Oh, I like the screenshot I've frozen on it. I did it accidentally, people, of Matt's face.
That,
Um,
that look on his face.
yeah, with his tongue sticking out, his eyes closed. That was just accidental. Um, the the um the stereotypes, how Matt brings them down to being just these stereotypes of these people and changing the memory of what the person's like. I mean, the mother, she's still alive. He's making her out to be just this, I don't know, just get in the car, get in the car. You don't need
Yeah.
that walker. She doesn't seem very caring. She doesn't seem like she's a very nice person. She seems very blunt and just
Well,
all
he
the
even
time.
said your mom was pissed about this.
Yeah, that your dad's health was declining and she didn't like that. She didn't like that he had to have a walker and a cane, which again, they aren't really nodding to. They're kind of like a little nodding because it's just the polite thing that humans do when people are talking to you. You kind of nod a little bit like, yeah, go ahead. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yeah. Not like, uh-huh, I 100% agree. Dad definitely had a cane and a walker, and my mom kept trying to take it away from him because she was mad. I don't like what he's doing to the mom. I think
No, he's just making her sound, you know, like she just wasn't very, very um caring of dad there at the end,
very
you know.
cruel. I think that's cruel.
Yeah. Hmm.
And okay, even if she had a valid reason because she was scared, it just feels all really wrong. Okay, let's see.
one of the things that he wants to thank you for is for taking such great care of your mom. Because he tells me that he knew that when he died, that there was nothing that he had to worry about. He said, Matt, he says, I had such a great family. I have such great kids. I have such a great family. He says that I knew that I could leave this world and not have to worry.
Okay.
But I want you to know that, like, even when he was
Go ahead.
So before he had to ask if mom was still alive during all of this,
Right.
right? But now he's telling that dad is talking about how they've taken such good care of her since he died.
Oh, good point. Good point.
You know,
So yeah, all of a
wouldn't
sudden
it?
now
I
that
mean,
he knows mom is alive, now he's grateful to you taking
right.
care of her. Good point. I hadn't thought of that. He said
So,
children too, and we don't know that there's children. I mean, the odds are that there are multiple kids, but all we have is Debbie and her daughter. That's got to be her daughter. There's no way that woman is close enough to be a younger sibling.
right.
Well, I
I
mean,
think it's a daughter. I mean, they look a lot alike. So I just
mhm,
really think it's possibly her daughter. But,
mhm,
I think he's figuring, okay, Virginia, that's kind of in the South. At that time, larger families, I think he's just kind of making a generalized assumption
yeah.
about that.
So she yeah, and it bugs me whenever they say, "Oh, you were so helpful and thank you. Your dad wants to thank you and your dad is this." What about all the other siblings who might have been bigger helps? Maybe Debbie and her granddaughter really aren't even close to the mom. Maybe the mom's in North Carolina or in Arkansas or Louisiana or someplace, and they don't really have a lot of contact with mom. They just know she's,
Right,
they call her on the phone, but yet there's a devoted family member right there where mom lives who's really supplying all the caregiving, taking her to the doctor, doing her meds,
mhm,
maybe has her living in their house. And the people who are getting thanked are Debbie and Debbie's daughter. I think it's
right.
cruel.
Hmm.
We don't know. Matt's making it sound like it's true, but you don't usually think that. I doubt Debbie's going to say, "Well, hold on there. I've only been like taking care of mom like by the phone every once in a while. I haven't actually done anything." My sister she lives with my sister, and that woman has devoted her life to my mom,
Right.
poor
That's
thing.
a good point too. That part I didn't exactly pick up on. But I'm like, okay, I guess after mom didn't take the world's best care of dad because she was angry, that, mom's lucky that she's got somebody to take care of her.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So if mom was, yeah, I don't know. I think once they get off this call, Debbie and Debbie's daughter, they're going to get off and they're going to call people and say, "Hey, we just heard from dad and he had these things to say and he wanted to thank me for taking good care of, mom." And this other person's going, "Well, wait, what about me?" "Oh, well, Matt was kind of vague, but he did say that he said as a family, you guys are all good."
Right.
He really thinks I'm the one that's doing all the work. Oh my gosh, that would be mean. I bet you she's not going to tell her sister that. She's going to say, "Hey sis, just got off of the phone with dad. Yeah, I know he's dead, but he wanted to say that he's watching over mom and he's really grateful for how you and everybody are taking care of mom, because I don't want her because she's a real pain in the ass. So don't bring her to my house. You keep mom. Dad's happy that you are keeping mom at the house. Don't bring her to my house." Okay, let's see what happens here.
Such great kids. I have it's such a great family. He says that I knew that I could leave this world and not have to worry. But I want you to know that, like, even when he was here, this is the tough part. And your mom's stubborn. I don't think she told you all of this, okay? But your dad shows me he used to take care of everything when he was here. He was very, very, very smart. And he was very, very, very like analytical about the bills and money and things like that. And I'm seeing that before he died, he tried to teach your mom things.
He
Like
did.
how to write checks, what bills need to be paid, certain things that were happening around the house, and your mom did not want to learn. Does that make sense?
Well, she's learned now.
Well,
That's just so again stereotype,
I know.
Jeez.
But I mean, think about this. I mean, back then, a lot of times it usually was the men that took care of
The
the
finances?
bills and all of that,
Not in my household. My dad turned over his check and my mom handled all the bills.
Oh, I see now, whenever I was growing up, you know,
Men were,
it
well,
was
you
it
were
was
raised
more
in the South.
the men taking care of all of that.
Well, you know what? I maybe Matt's just playing the odds because
I
that was
think he
typical.
is.
Because I think it is more likely, but
I mean,
I
women
don't think.
couldn't have a checking account. Women couldn't have all this.
Oh my God,
Usually
you're
all
right. They
that
couldn't
kind of
have
stuff
credit
was in
cards.
a lot of that was in the men's names. And
That's
so
that's
the
right.
men would
1970s.
write the checks and the men would do the business.
Yeah, yeah,
You
you're
know,
right.
women might maybe pay some of the bills, they would have some of the grocery money and things like that. But when it came to the big business decisions, you know, men seemed to carry, a little bit more of the weight than the women did. So I think
Mhm.
he's just making a assumption here.
Yeah, he made a guess, and I think it paid off because he could have just stuck with your dad was trying to explain things to her so that, to help her out and kept it just that. But then he goes and mentions checks, which
Right.
is, and I think he might have done that because they were starting to nod their heads whenever
And
he
they
said,
even they're kind of laughing here. Like if you see their facial expression now, the mom's smiling. This is the
yeah.
first time she's had like an actual smile.
Because mom's learning now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would have been more like, he was telling her how to light the pilot light and, what get the sewage system cleaned out and don't forget the gutters need to be done or, something like reminding things. But I assume that women have full autonomy and know where the checking account is and stuff like that. But I guess it isn't true. I think I'm just living a weird life here in California. It's I don't know if that's typical. Again, he's assuming they were married to each other. I guess they were, till his death. It's kind of starting to look that way, the way she's talking about the checking account
Right.
and stuff. But that's a gamble. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if it was a woman, if Debbie was in her 50s, I you I don't know if that would be such a good gamble that the parents would be still married.
Right.
So yeah,
Because in that generation, divorces were becoming more common.
yeah, but not in a woman who's 90. She probably married for life. So it's a gamble, but Matt's done thousands of readings. He kind of knows what he's doing. And I'm just thinking it's kind of risky. But if it had not played off, like if they'd said, oh, mom and dad were divorced, when I was a kid, and we hardly had any contact with him, my dad. If Debbie had said, I really don't have any contact with my dad, I don't know that much about him. I know a little bit. I mean, I know he died, but then Matt would just pivoted and said, oh, it's another man, I think, that was close to you, or let's talk about Phil.
Yeah.
And Phil wants Cousin Phil's trying to get a message in right now. Thank you very much. He wants to talk about, I don't know. Okay, so
But,
you have something else you want to say on this?
I mean, I was just really surprised that he hung in on this reading this long with as little um positive feedback as he was getting from them because we've seen him bail before when he
That's true.
wasn't getting what looked like a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah, this is 6 minutes in and he's still on dad.
Yeah, so I was really surprised
And
that
he
this
hasn't
one,
said much about dad
no,
and mom a little bit,
not a lot.
It only things that they fed him so that he can pull those strings and keep working on it. But okay, so I guess mom's learned to balance her own checkbook now. Now that we do not need to balance checkbooks anymore, we have. Okay, well,
Oh,
let's see.
she didn't want to learn when he was sick because I kept hearing her saying like, "No, you take care of that." He's like, "No, but I gotta just in case I gotta teach you." He's literally
Exactly.
showing your mom being like, "No, I know, like you take care of that. Like I don't need to know this."
That's very true. He
So
said that. She said it all the time.
please know that your dad just said to me, my love for her was so strong. He says that I held on as long as I possibly could. And he said to me that he was so worried, so scared, because like I said, he shows me him trying to teach her these tasks. Your mom doesn't want anything to do with it. And now, thank God, on the other side, he sees that, you've all helped her. You've all taught her. And it's funny because your dad was someone who, had everything written down. Everything was on papers. I see papers everywhere, right? And he shows me they're very neatly organized because he showed me like his desk. He had like a desk area where like there was like all these papers and things. And I see him telling me, like, everything was here. Everything was here that my wife needed. Everything was here that my family needed in case I died or something happened to me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then he's also telling me, like, he's so cute. He's telling me, he goes, Matt, he goes, I wanted to make sure, he goes, if I died, she would have enough money to do what she wanted, like to go to the casino if she wanted, to go on little.
Okay, stereotype still, he's still sticking to that stereotype
Mhm.
of, and she does admit that mom didn't want to know about the money and how to do that, but I think we're going to get into a lot more stereotypes here.
Yeah.
A whole minute. He's still, we're on minute 7 now, and he's still talking about dad.
Just
How,
kind of rambling. And of course, everything was on paper. They didn't have computers back then.
oh, good point. What else would it have been on?
Right. Everything was paper checks. Bills came in the mail,
That's
paper.
right.
We
I
didn't
didn't
have
think of that.
paperless billing. We didn't have, you know, all the conveniences we have now where you just push a button and pay it. Of course it was on paper.
Yeah, that's a good point. I really hadn't thought that, but you're right. What else would have been etched in stone?
I thought he was taking a big chance bringing up about the desk.
But well,
Not everybody had a home office. They would pull the box out and do the bills at the dining table and put it away till the next time they needed it or whatever.
maybe he thought these people have a little more money, a little more affluence, that they would have a separate area set aside. And I guess if he had said desk and that he didn't have a desk, he might have meant they might have said, oh, like when dad would bring out all the stuff on the kitchen table. So it wasn't a desk, but yeah, he had everything organized in boxes and stuff. I maybe, I don't know, but yeah. So dad was either a very organized man or dad was a very unorganized man. And Matt went with he's organized, and they agree. And I don't think he said much more. Again, if you have a lot of papers and you're trying to manage the household, you kind of have to have an area, I would think. I don't know. My dad did, but my dad didn't manage the bills, but he did have a desk and he had all those papers. All right, let's see what happens.
Trips if she wanted to buy things if she wanted.
No, that was her favorite thing, was to go to the casino. And that's just, that's what she does.
He tells me. And he tells me she has like a little allowance, like a little expenditures, right, that she can have and like she can go and do. And he says to me, like, this is what I wanted for her. I just wanted her to go to the casino, go out to dinner, have enough money to do all of these things. So your
Yes.
dad tells me, and like it's so funny because he tells me, like, when she was here and she was alive, like she would your mom would take advantage in a good way, right? Like she'd be asking your dad like for more money, like, oh, can I have a little more? Can I have this? Can I have that? Right? And now that your dad died, right, and she can have more money, like if she wanted to, she's got access to it. It's like she don't want it anymore. It's like she doesn't really care.
Right.
Because he's laughing at this and saying, like, and I don't know if it was you who told her or your family members, like, Mom, you can take out more money. Like, you can have more money. She's like, nah, I'm fine. Nah, I'm good with what I got. Like, don't worry about it.
Okay, so Evelyn, I think this is just getting very stereotypical with the mother wanting to go to the casinos, and she thought she had to save all her money, and then she'd say, hey, honey, can I have a little more money? And he says, sure. Now that dad's dead, she doesn't have to have money. She just wanted to feel spoiled, I guess, a little bit. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, I thought it was interesting. I looked up the state of Virginia has 5 casinos, but they were not approved for casinos until 2020.
Oh,
So,
just in
I don't
time
know.
for the lockdown when everything was supposed to be locked down.
Right. So, I'm not sure how long ago dad died, but okay, so the state of Virginia has not had casinos for very long
Well,
in the grand
they
scheme of
might be on a
things.
border area where they could
Right.
have gotten
So
into another
going
state,
somewhere else,
possibly. Well,
to go
she
to the
makes it sound like
casino.
she was going when dad was alive,
Right.
but we don't know how
So,
long dad's been dead.
right.
Interesting.
So I just thought that was an interesting little, because whenever they brought up about the casinos, I thought, wonder how long Virginia has had casinos, because I know some states really haven't had gambling that long.
Even the Native American ones, they're recent. I thought they were, well, at least in California, we've had them for ages.
But I know that a lot of the states on the East Coast didn't
Huh.
have them.
Well,
But
I don't know.
I
But
just thought that was some interesting tidbit of trivia. So, maybe they were just, maybe they would take vacations to go gambling, or, maybe once a year they made a trip to Vegas, and
oh
who
yeah,
knows?
that's true. Yeah, I think he's still playing the stereotypes with little old ladies wanting to go to casinos.
I do too.
I think that's typical. My mom wasn't the type, but she was she would have been freaked out spending a quarter on something, I think.
Oh my gosh, just to drop that quarter in the slot and watch it go goodbye forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when she was younger, probably had a different life experience. But yeah, she was way too frugal. But then again, we don't live anywhere near any kind of casinos. But I do know a lot of people whose parents really are into it, or at least their mothers are really into casinos. They want
So,
to go
well, if you
play.
go to the casino here, because we've got several casinos here in the St. Louis area, and there is a large portion of the gambling population that is older women.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, he knows the odds, so he knows better than you and I guess. So we'll see. Okay, so let's see what's happening there.
Right.
She's happy. The mother, Debbie's smiling because her mom's gambling and looking like she's living her best life, going and playing slot machines or something. I don't know. Okay,
Yes.
now let's see.
That's her.
But when your dad was here, like he actually tells me that your mom had her own like little stash that she didn't tell him about. Like she had her own like little money stash. I feel like it was like winnings from the casino, or like little winnings that she had. Wasn't a lot of money. May have been like a couple $100, right? But like that was like their little secret thing. And he's laughing about that from the other side.
Oh,
So I need you to know this one thing. He tells me that he wants to thank you for the great care that you took of your mom and that you still do.
yes.
And he tells me that one day when your mom passes, not for years and years, hopefully, right? But one day when she's ready to go to the other side, he tells me that he will be right there. He says, I'm already watching over her. I'm already there and with her. So your dad says to me that when it is time to say goodbye, he wants to let you know that she will be rejoining him in heaven, and that for them, it's like life picks up right where it left off.
I don't know. That might be a nightmare.
So, right. What's real interesting here too, they seemed very surprised about the secret stash, but then it really
Yeah.
wasn't a secret because Dad knew about it.
Yeah. And what's a couple $100? Oh my goodness.
And I don't know. I mean, I know Grandma kept cash in a little tin can up in the cabinet,
Mm-hmm.
so whatever. But there was that one spot where he said, so I need you to know one thing. He tells me that he wants to thank you for the great care you took of your mom. Past tense, took.
Oh,
And then he suddenly pivots and goes, and you still do. I think he
wow.
almost made a mistake there and he caught himself.
I think you're probably right. I didn't catch that either. Very good, Evelyn. Good eye. Good eye. They, you know, I don't know. This whole thing, again, we're at minute 9 and they still don't seem to be
I know. I am so surprised that he has
strung
stuck with this
along.
one for this long.
Hmm. And really it's, I'm watching over mom. How come he doesn't know anything? And like he says, well, hopefully it's a long time, like kind of like he doesn't know. I don't know if the dead they're supposed to know when somebody's going to die or not, but
Or,
what if
what kind of health is mom in? Mom's in her 90s, okay? Is she a healthy 90?
well she's going to casinos,
So,
apparently.
oh, I've seen a lot of women in their little wheelchairs
Oh
dragging
yeah,
themselves
on
along from
oxygen.
one slot machine to another.
Well,
So,
she's balancing her checkbook, apparently. I don't know. It's kind of like, what if mom's got a hottie now? She's got a boyfriend now. And she's thinking, I don't know, think I want to go hang out with my husband,
Yeah.
Again, we don't know how long it's been since dad died, and it could have been 20 years ago. She
Mom
could have
could have
remarried.
remarried. Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course. So maybe she's married and living with somebody right now. She has a spouse that's different. We just don't know. They're not giving that up, and Matt's, oh, ugh.
He's smiling now because they're smiling and he finally feels like he's hit his stride and is starting to get some hits here.
Yeah, we see these are on whenever we watch these, as many as we've watched, you see him kind of go on about a death and he goes into detail about the death, and then it gets into the platitudes. And so I think he's at the platitude stage, and I think he's looking for an exit to end this. We've
Hmm.
got 2 minutes 48 seconds left, but I think he's at the platitudes. Oh, he wants, thank you for taking care of mom and all the things you do for her. And okay, I'm about ready to move on to the next person. So I don't know what's going to
Yeah, I
happen
don't know.
next 2 minutes. You've seen this a few times.
I mean, I was just so surprised that he was still hanging with this one. The entire time I was watching this, I'm like, oh, he's about to bail.
Mhm. Well,
And he just kept dragging it out.
well, 9 minutes of nothing. So let's see. I don't remember what's going to happen, but there's 2 minutes 48 seconds. So there's
Yeah.
something's got to happen because he's at the platitude stage. He's trying. I think he's ready to end this, but let's see if he grabs Phil and drags him back in there or
Yeah,
something.
there's a cardinal that pecks on her window every day, that sits in a little tree by her house, and she swears that that's something that's a sign from him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I keep hearing her talking to him. Like she literally talks to his picture. He tells me, and I know that it's his way of reminding her and saying, like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Like I'm here for you when day you're ready.
Yes, that's so true. I was just hoping my husband was there too, because he passed a couple of years ago. Because this is I think it's about my 12th time signing up for a reading. I'm so glad at
Whoa.
least I.
There you go.
I don't have
Whoa.
your husband here yet because
What? What?
Yeah.
She is. Okay, there it is. That's who she
She
really
wanted to
is.
see her husband. That's why this whole time she's looked like she has just been bummed out. She wanted to see her husband. She has been there 12 times.
Wow.
She has spent over, what, $350 somewhere around there,
Oh, yeah.
waiting to hear from her husband. And who shows up? Her dad,
And
grandpa,
Phil.
and Phil.
And she has to tell Matt.
And
She's
she
telling
has
him.
to tell him, you
And
know,
she tells him it's been a couple of years.
she brought up the sign, the little
Oh, the
bird pecking
cardinal.
on the window. So she brought up the sign from her dad.
Right.
Matt didn't bring that up.
And mom is the one who says there's a cardinal that's outside my window pecking on it. I think it's dad. So it wasn't like Matt had said, there's a cardinal that's been pecking on your mom's window, and your dad is saying that's from him.
Right.
It was the other way around. The mom is saying that she has been seeing a cardinal.
Right. I
At her.
mean, Matt didn't even know dad was visiting mom.
Mm.
Wouldn't he know that? Wouldn't dad say, I've been watching over mom. I go to visit her regularly
I'm spying in her window with,
or something?
you know, another thing that we shouldn't not, we got to make sure we point out at no time has Matt given us the name of the father or of the wife or his daughter who's sitting there in white, or the names of any other people in the
Mm-mm.
family other than somebody named Phil that they had to come up with. There's no evidence. It's all just so vague.
You
Or her
know,
husband. Now he's about to say, I'm going to back this up a little bit. He's about to say, oh, your husband. She's saying, my husband who's been dead a couple years. And Matt's going to say something about that husband. And I don't think he's going to mention any names again either. So I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. So 12 times she's been here. 12
yeah,
times. That's a little
that's a lot.
yeah, it's excessive. I mean, I guess if you find it entertainment, but hoping to get a reading from your husband for 12 times is,
And then he doesn't show up. Somebody else does.
oh, that's rude of him. My gosh.
It's
Okay,
about
let's
my,
see what
I
Matt
think
has
this
to
is
say.
about my 12th time signing up for a reading. I'm so glad at least my dad came through.
I don't have your husband here yet because I gotta tell you, your dad was the one who's clogging up the channel. So I would be lying to you if I told you that that I was hearing a message from your husband. Doesn't mean that he's not here, but what happens is that souls have specific messages, right? And sometimes what happens is they'll wait for that message to be delivered for another soul to come through. So I'm sorry that it took you so long, but I know that your dad had to speak right here and now. And this whole reading is about like you and your mom, your love for one another, but also about your dad being able to pass on to the other side because of you taking care of her.
Yes, I will keep signing up until my husband comes through.
He will come through. He will come through. I promise you that. I don't have a message here right now only because I can't hear past your dad, but I know that next time, right, your dad will not be here, right? Like your dad will step aside to let your husband through. That's normally what happens.
Oh, that's a bunch of hooey.
Yeah. Dad has the channel all clogged up.
Uh-huh.
Paul and Phil could get through.
Uh-huh. And Grandpa.
Right. So he didn't stop them from coming through, but her husband, although I think he did say what, he's here too,
Oh, yeah, the husband's here,
but
but
he can't talk because dad's.
well, Dad just had his say. Why doesn't he just give her the reading? I mean,
If the
he's
husband's
arguing with
there
her.
and dad's done talking, can't the husband talk now?
Hmm. You know what happens is that Matt would have to start all over again with his platitudes and all that. And Matt would be making a real risk at this point. If he tries to introduce a husband right now, he doesn't know how he died, or it would just be, I say I think it'd be a risk if Matt tries to introduce another person in right now, especially since I think he's trying to wind down.
Yeah. But it just, okay, your husband's here, but he can't talk because your dad had to get his message out. And okay, so I guess there's some sort of pecking order there in heaven.
Keep buying readings.
Maybe dad had seniority because he's been there the longest, or whatever. And so he gets to talk first.
Yeah,
And
Matt's not going to
Holly,
give her another reading. She's not going to
no,
get another reading.
no.
No. And if
But
she did, it might be some other dad or some other, it's not necessarily going to be a husband.
but but keep signing up. He says that. Keep
Yeah.
signing up. Your husband
Next
will
time.
come through.
Next
So,
time. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I promise you that.
Someday your
I just
husband will
don't
come
have a
through.
message right now because I can't hear past your dad.
Why didn't he say, like, if he said, okay, here's what I would think. She says, I wish my husband would come through. And Matt says, well, first he says, he hasn't come through. And then he says he has come through. I would have thought Matt would have said, is his name Norman or is his name Frank? And she would have said, yes. And he would have said, well, he really wanted to let your dad come through because your dad felt like he had a more of a message. I thought he would have
Right.
said the guy's name to me.
Or something.
Yeah. Is he the one that died? Is he the one that died in the car accident? Or is he the one that something specific? Because he's just like, oh yeah, your husband's here. I mean, Matt didn't even think that was like what?
But he could
Second?
tell her that her grandpa was there. He could tell her that Phil was there, but the husband's there the whole time, and Matt couldn't say, "Oh, there's someone else here too."
There's a man that's trying to get through, but he's being polite and letting your dad get here
Yeah.
first. I think it's your husband. Is your husband's name Norman? Something. I don't know. It just feels like, oh, and your husband's here too, but I'm just going to move on and I'm going to give you a bunch of excuses about why he can't come through right now. Because I've got to wind down this reading and I've got to move on to somebody else. And I don't really care about your feelings. I'm just here to make money.
Yeah. But I just think it's interesting that he could point out the two other souls that were there,
Mm-hmm.
and then he completely overlooks. So what, this other guy's just like standing around being completely not acknowledged
He's
or
floating. He's floating
floating, whatever.
in heaven.
I don't,
Well,
I don't know
Matt,
what I don't know
maybe they'll
what the
drive apart.
laws of I don't know what the laws of gravity are for We're spirits.
I know. Well, this is getting silly, but this is just so full of BS. I mean, it's like so insulting, you know. This woman can't get her. Come on, lady. Just don't. I mean, Matt's making this up, right? And I don't know. I feel really bad for. Okay, let's see. We're got to be almost done. Let's see.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you
All right,
very
you're so
much.
welcome. We're gonna leave you with that.
And congratulations on your new baby girl on the
I-
way.
Can't believe it. Can you believe I'm having a girl?
I know. I was hoping this one. Rowan,
Thank you. Well, I thank you for that. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you for that.
Yes.
You know, if we had another boy, you know what would happen is my wife would be like, we have to try again. And I'm like, listen, I'm only having 3. I only want 3. I don't want to have any more.
Gotta have 2 girls, 2 boys.
Well, listen, I'm stopping at 3. I'm not going to try to beat you. I'm not in competition. I am not in competition. Let me put it to you this way. I'm going to see the doctor afterwards. I'm going to take care of myself. My wife's like, let's just try one more. I said, no, you try yourself. I'm going to go to the doctors.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see what the name's going to be. I watch your videos all the time, watching Royce and Rowan. They're wonderful.
But we're close. I think we finally got the name decided yesterday. I think. I don't want to say it because I don't want to say it because if I say it, then my wife's gonna be like, that's not the name. But I'm pretty sure we got it all locked down last night. So that's funny that you say that.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. And we'll be back waiting to see if I can hear from my husband next time.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Thank you so much for trusting me and for staying on here this long. I'm sorry it took this long, but I'm happy that he was here today. And I'm so happy that he's here with your mom.
Okay.
You know, watching over her.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, Evelyn, just keep trying. He spent a minute and a half talking about his 3rd child, who's now born. It's a little girl.
Uh-huh.
Now that we're into January, the baby's born. It's a little girl, but he spent a minute and a half. Couldn't he just given her a minute and a half reading with her husband? Because Dad's already said what he's going to say. So
Right.
he's got her right here. She's a devoted fan. This is a woman who's following and like all into his life and wonder what the baby's name is. Boy, I'm really into. Lady, come on now. He's just some guy. I watch all your videos.
I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, how could she? He gave her 0 useful information that in any way she could go back and say she could prove that she was talking to Dad, except for like, okay, maybe he mentioned Mom's secret stash, but
He had a heart
we
attack.
laughed about that. But overall,
He knew that she had heart failure.
well, I guess, but that's a
Common.
pretty that's a pretty safe guess for an older man.
Mm-hmm. And what else did he get right?
It got Phil's name,
Well, no, he just threw out a Phil.
threw out a name, and she connected it to a cousin.
Not that your cousin's name is Phil, and he's
you
here.
know, but
No dogs, no hobbies,
yeah, he didn't mention a dog.
no workplace, nothing. I mean, it was like, again, Dad has been turned into a 2D stereotype of a male that has heart attacks because that's typical. I mean, nothing about his career, nothing about his life, nothing about other children, nothing about his
Any
his
hobbies or
expectations,
anything that he'd like
nothing.
to do? Did Dad like to go fishing?
I was thinking fishing too,
Because he brings that up a lot.
He does. Nothing like, did Dad run a newspaper? Was your dad an avid bird watcher, and he's collected birds all over the world?
That's why he's coming back as a cardinal, because he liked watching. Maybe he had bird feeders. I don't know. I mean, he really gave us nothing about Dad's life.
Just very stereotyped and just bland. And same with Mom. She didn't write checks, she didn't handle the bills, and she liked to go to the casino. That's it. Nothing.
Yeah.
These people look pretty dang boring. I mean, there's no personality not much. I mean, there's a little bit that he'll push in there a little bit. Let me ask you, do you have cardinals where you live?
Yeah.
We don't have cardinals out here.
Really?
No way. if somebody said there was a cardinal appearing out here, I'd be like, what, in a zoo or something?
Oh no, we have a lot of cardinals.
There's no cardinals out here where I live, and I
Why
have
our
seen them
baseball
in
team?
Hawaii. Oh, I've seen them in Hawaii. I think they were cardinals, and
Yeah.
I think I've been on the East Coast and I saw one, but that is like, if he calls on cardinals for somebody in the California area, especially along the coast where I live, then that is a freak occurrence. But I mean, if you see a cardinal, you see them often.
I see them all the time.
Well, how do you know which dead person it is that they represent?
Well, because it's pecking on our window.
Which, but don't you know which person it is? How are
Oh,
you
they
supposed to
just they
know?
just assumed that this was dad. I
Well, what
mean,
if
maybe
it's
that
what if it's
cardinal was grandpa. Maybe that cardinal was cousin Phil.
what if it's an what if it's another boyfriend or something like? I mean,
It's
how are you supposed to know your cardinals from one another? They don't wear
I
like
don't know.
little
They pretty much all look alike. So I don't know. They don't wear little name tags.
name tags. I'm from so and so. I don't. I mean, if I don't know, this whole thing about signs is so weird. It's heavy in religion too.
Yes.
At least in the Christian religions, I got a sign from God to do this, or I got a. I remember because I was raised Southern Baptist, and my
Huh?
pastor got a call from God. God called.
Oh,
God
yes.
called him, and I swear I thought he picked up the phone and he was on the phone. I didn't. I was like, "What do you mean, Dad? God called you to do something?" Yes, God called us to move to a different place and do a different mission. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
wow,
Oh,
he's got your
yeah.
phone number. That must have been something else.
I mean, I was raised Southern Baptist as well, you know,
Yeah, from where
but
I'm from. Yeah, of course.
so yeah, I grew up a lot listening to people who had received their sign from God, their calling.
Which is kind of what they want, right? Isn't that how I interpret it?
Oh
Is
yeah.
what you want it to be?
Oh
Should I
yeah.
marry this person? Yeah, I want to marry that person. So
So
that's my
God
sign.
will send you a sign,
And the sign could be cardinals.
I guess.
I don't know. I
I
cardinals
never
are
really
dead thing.
got a sign. So I obviously at the time that I was attending church, and maybe it's because I turned out to be an atheist.
That was a bad sign. You should have got a
So maybe I just wasn't attuned.
dinner. Well, there's an awful lot of things I've done in my life that I sure as heck would have liked to have gotten a sign because I probably shouldn't have done those things. I sure as heck would like a sign, but I didn't get no sign. And the cardinals are a medium thing. It's like, I don't know why it's cardinals. I'm sure there's a reason, but because they're red, are they red, right? With
They are red. They're a bright red. Well, the males are a bright red. The females are just kind of a very plain browny gray kind of, but then in the bird world, it is the males that have the colorful plumage.
right.
So,
Okay.
you
Well,
know,
okay, so sum this all up for us, Evelyn. What do you think? Would you
so,
think of this reading?
I mean,
I just
I
assigned
thought
it to you at random, by the way. I just
I,
grabbed one and assigned it.
I
Here you
just I
go.
just thought a whole lot of this was, I mean, I felt like maybe it wasn't a complete and total miss on stuff because, it turned out dad did have he heart problems, so he was able to kind of reel him in a little with that. But I don't think he ever did anything except for he got kind of lucky on the casino thing. I felt
Lucky or playing the odds. It's
well,
likely.
playing the odds, whatever,
And
like
if
you
it had been
said.
wrong, if he had said, "Yeah, your mom is the type that like to go to casinos or something," and then he said, "No, my mom would never go to a casino.
I
She's
know, but
seriously
that
allergic
was
to
that
cigarettes."
was one place where they both smiled and laughed, and they're like, "Ha yeah," you
Mm.
know. And even then, his eyes got real wide, like, "Oh my God, I got a hit here." He surprised himself. But I don't know. It was just so general. He could have been talking about anybody. There was just nothing here that I thought really. I mean, I don't know if I was talking to my dad, I would hope he would have something better to say from the other side.
Yeah, that was pretty bland
It was boring. You could tell they were bored.
and very stereotyped. I mean,
Yeah.
very generic. Dad works around the house. Dad did the bills. Mom just
We don't know what dad did. He never even said what dad did. We had no clue what dad did. Nothing that he liked. We didn't know anything mom liked except the casino.
didn't even acknowledge the other woman sitting there, did he?
No. Hmm.
He didn't say,
What was
sometimes they'll say, who is that with you? And they'll
right?
say, oh, that's my daughter,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, whatever.
No, he just kind of completely ignored her. And like mom's talking about her husband. But then I wondered, okay, was it that girl's father? Because she didn't seem too into this about the mom's husband.
Debbie's husband?
Yeah.
I think she was kind of like, yeah, we were hoping dad would come through.
But I don't know. I thought,
It
I mean,
was, it was
she
like, yeah,
nodded that her mom wanted to see her husband, but I'm like, I don't know. There just wasn't a whole lot of emotion there.
okay, well, here's what I'm thinking. They've been here 12 times, or at least
Uh-huh.
Debbie's been here 12 times. So probably in the daughter's mind, the woman in white, she's probably at like minute 8 going, dad is never going to come through. So, okay, whatever. Let's start thinking about what time we're going to put the turkey on or whatever. I got to get to the store. Do you think the store might still be open? Maybe she's running through other things in her mind, thinking dad's
That,
not going to come through. Obviously, it's just going to be grandpa, her
yeah.
grandpa, and great grandpa, and some distant cousin named Phil. And
Except
so,
that the husband was there, but he couldn't talk.
but yeah, he couldn't talk because the grandfather was, I mean, the father was blocking it up. But the grandfather, I mean, the guy who's unnamed,
But
he's
he didn't
dead.
even say the husband was there until she mentioned the husband.
Well, couldn't he did finally said, well, he's here, but he can't talk because the other guy's blocking it
Yeah.
up. But let's talk about my baby.
But yeah, but why wouldn't he say the husband was there? He said the other people were there
Well, he only said the father was there, the husband was there after.
after she did, right? But if he was really there, wouldn't Matt have seen him? I mean, he saw the others.
Maybe he was at choir practice. I don't know. It did the whole
He
point.
came in late.
He's
was
late. Dad
He
is
was
always
running
late.
late.
So okay. So what is this woman gonna say? All right, she's gonna end this reading when it's over.
She's gonna call the family.
Hey, guess what? I finally got a reading from Matt Fraser, who's amazing. He's about to have his third baby. Oh my gosh, can you believe he's gonna have a little girl? Like, yeah, the odds are kind of high after the third baby.
And he's having a vasectomy.
Oh wow. Yeah, snip snip. And so, well, they're all under 4, I think. So
I'd want a vasectomy too.
he's fertile. She's fertile. So hey mom, hey everybody, hey mom, your husband came through, dad came through. Really? And he said he's watching over you. He thinks this could be a long time before you die. And he's happy that you're going to casinos. And that's about all he had to say. Oh, and he's glad somebody taught you how to balance a checkbook. That's it. That's all he had to say.
Yeah. So that is much words of wisdom as dad could pass on from the other side. He didn't say heaven was beautiful or
Ran into
mom's gonna love it here because they have flowers and gardens, or it was
and oh,
incredibly
I
uninsightful.
ran into Aunt Louise the other day. Remember, she died, whenever,
Right.
whatever. And let me tell you what Aunt Louise had to say. Oh, or some kind of something like that Debbie might have been interested in hearing because he's talking to all the other family members who are dead. So, I mean,
Yeah.
drama or something or interesting of some sort.
I don't know. It was just, to me, a very, very bland. It,
Do you think Debbie thinks that she got a reading from her dad?
I think Debbie does think she got a reading from her dad.
How about the other woman? Does she think she got it
I
happened?
don't know. It was just
You
there.
think she's gonna go, that was it, Mom? You've been doing this for 12 times? Really?
I mean, I think maybe mom believes this stuff. Like, obviously, mom believes this stuff. She's paid for 12 readings
It's a
and
lot
all
of
of
hours.
this, and
That's like
maybe the
20 hours.
daughter might have some belief in it. She's sitting there with mom. She did, they did kind of laugh about the casino thing, and I think they're going to hang their entire hat on that little thing because they'll be like, how would he have known?
Yeah, you're probably right.
And so they're going to take that out of that entire 11 minutes and how long was this reading?
11 minutes
11
and 50
minutes and
seconds.
50 seconds. So they're going to take out of that entire 11 minutes and 50 seconds, they're going to take that one little tidbit about the casino, because that's when they showed the most emotion, and that's kind of when they laughed. And out of that entire reading, they're going to make a thing out of this casino thing.
Because
That's
there
what
ain't nothing else to hang your hat
there
on
was nothing else to hang it on.
unless
You
they
know?
say he came through and he knew about cousin Philip.
Right.
Not anything about him, but
But he knew, but he
but he
knew, he
didn't.
knew cousin Philip was there.
Yeah, and
Or
all he did was Matt threw out the name Philip.
Yeah.
Phil, and
Mhm,
they came
Phil.
up with who it would be.
Mhm. And they even had to think. You could see them going, oh, that was my uncle's son.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. That's all we got. And that might have
And
been a
then,
much more interesting story. And Matt should have gone with that.
yeah, and
But then
then
again, he's kind of got to do a lot of guessing. It's a lot more, there's a lot of risk in there
there was a whole, yeah, they would have had
because his uncle's
with the
son,
dad, as Debbie's age and the dad, the heart thing is a very, very good guess because it's such a common way that men die.
mhm,
So that it's overall, it's a safe
or
guess.
could have suffered from, maybe he might have died from something else.
But he had,
It might
and,
have been an accident at work, but you could have had heart
right.
problems. And
And Debbie offered up that he had had two bypasses, so it was a safe road for Matt to stay on.
once he found out that it was, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what my overall impression of this whole thing is that Debbie is a true motivated sitter. She's in it for the long haul. She's lonely. Who
Mhm.
else is going to do this many times? Unless they're one of us, like you or I, who's actually got a mission trying to understand this stuff. But she's a true believer. Obviously, she's done a lot. She probably has had other mediumship readings from other mediums. I wouldn't be shocked. And just the complacency of her and her daughter of, all right, we're talking to a dead person now, and
Mhm.
hopefully we'll hurry up and get done with this dead person so we can move on to the other dead person I really want to hear from. Not like, oh my God, fear, fear, and still fear. This is so freaking amazing. Tell me what heaven's like. Nothing like that. It's all, oh yeah, okay, well, that's why I think she probably gets lots of readings, and this is just like the normal. This is just normal. Of course, Matt's talking to the dead.
And if she has had other readings, it's possible her dad has talked to her before. And she's like, oh my God, dad again?
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
I bet
I
Phil's
keep
never
wanting
come
to
through.
talk to my husband, and you guys just keep bringing me my dad.
That must feel really awful to be dad if you really were trying to get through.
I
You're like,
mean, mom was kind of mean to him when he was here.
if I was dad and I was trying to get a hold of my daughter legitimately, I'd be like, I know it seems like I talk to you all the time, but you just ignored me a lot when I was there on Earth. And I want to talk to you. So your husband's over here at choir practice. They don't care. I want to talk to you.
Your husband's running around with other angels, so you don't even need to worry about that.
Gosh, what if that's going on? He's already found himself a new hobby. I mean, we're laughing about it, but it just gets absurd at a certain point. And these people are just, I mean, Matt could have started talking about a dog and she would have found a way of making that make sense. Or somebody's moving or somebody's going to go on vacation and she would just, okay, I guess I'll go on vacation. Or he didn't have any words about grandchildren, like great grandchildren, like, oh, I see Johnny just had his baby and, his wife had the new baby and that was so exciting. And I'm so glad they named the child after me. I mean, I'm really honored that they would have named, I have a namesake. What about his son who was out fishing and he's not taking it seriously and he's drinking too much and he's going to drown. And, you got to tell Tony to knock it off. He shouldn't be drinking before he goes out on the boat because this is getting risky. And tell Aunt Elizabeth she's got to check the tires of her car because this is nothing.
Oh, he can see that they're taking care of mom, so you would think that he could see so much else that's going on.
They didn't even mention anybody. Nothing. No. I'm watching baby Eleanor who's taking piano lessons. I saw her at her recital the other day, or the Christmas play. Oh, the grandkids are so cute. I saw them at the Christmas play at their school, and I'm so proud of them. Look at them. And Diane is not as shy as she used to be when I was there. I saw her in her whatever those Christmas pageants are, they dress in. I raised boys.
The church, the church cantata.
Yeah, well, they would be dressed as a angel or a Tinkerbell or ballerina or swan or something. Or what are those? I'm thinking of that play. I've never
seen.
Like
a Nutcracker.
Yeah, a Nutcracker. I saw. Does Nutcracker? Does it sing? I don't know.
They kind of dance, I think.
Okay,
so there's the whole thing about the Nutcracker. So,
I saw little Diane. She was dancing. I'm so proud of her. Boy, she looks so cute in her little outfit. He didn't say anything like that. Nothing factual. He's watching over him.
Nope.
Why doesn't he tell his wife what maybe is a good one-arm
Which slot machine should she play the next time? Hey, if you go to this slot machine, go over to the Vibrant 7 slot machine.
I'll send you a cardinal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right.
There'll be a cardinal on the screen.
We do have a slot machine in our casino with that's something cardinals.
Oh, well, because it's a baseball team, right?
Right.
But so he can say, maybe I'm going to, when it's about ready to go, I'm going to send you a sign of something that would be in a casino that would be weird. An Elvis song will start playing. And so go to the Elvis machine right before.
Yeah.
That's when I want you to put the money in, is when you hear the Elvis song, go to the Elvis machine that's down the hallway. It's kind of over there by the change machines.
You go past the poker table, hang a left. And when you get to the end of that row,
there's an Elvis machine. Don't put any money in it until you hear the Elvis song. It's Heartbreak Hotel. I'm going to make sure that goes on. And that's when you start pumping the money in it. Nothing helpful like that.
No.
Oh my God. We're really getting into it. People hate people like us because we're just so annoying. Because we're like, picking at it because he's making it so obvious. Well, anyway, Evelyn, thank you so much for all your time. I hope this was interesting.
It was very interesting. Thank you for including me. I loved it.
Did you like the whole 18 or whatever? No, way more than 19. I mean, something. I mean, the whole feel to it.
Yeah, like
I have a different look at what's going on.
I have watched your videos online
Mhm.
and you commenting on all of this. But it was really interesting to just watch it and not have the comments and just like really study. I'd learned a lot from listening to what you say, and then just to watch it in action and go, I know what he's doing. Oh my God, that's exactly, so yeah, I found it incredibly interesting.
Psychologically, man, I tell you, people could get their PhD in this kind of stuff. If you don't really get into it, you like passively watch Teresa Caputo or whatever, or even if you did see a Matt Fraser video once or twice, it looks like it could be real
Yeah,
because it's just, but when you see a lot of them together, you start seeing the pattern.
yeah. And then like you said, when you start thinking about how this does actually, it's not just entertainment. This is causing harm to people. I mean, look how he talked about mom, so
I don't like her.
I don't like her,
She sounds like a
and
pretty,
now they're
pretty
thinking, you know what?
mom
She
is a
was mean to
she's
dad.
a pain in the
It's
ass.
like, oh
Boy.
my gosh,
Yeah.
we're waiting on her hand and fist, and she was telling dad, you don't need that walker.
Throw that can away. Throw that can away. You're not sick. Get out there and mow the lawn. I just blew my southern accent there. That was really my mom was southern, so I should have more of an accent, but well, anyway. Okay. So any parting words before I let you go?
No, I mean it's just very interesting. I've learned a whole lot doing this, and I hope I get to do it some more.
Okay. Well, I'll send you something else. So you educate your friends and family or whatever else and say, oh my gosh, you guys, this is a world I had no idea. Cousin
I-
Susan out there in
I'll leave
California.
my Skeptical Inquirer magazine on my desk at the office.
Oh yeah, you said you've just subscribed. That's great. I better get an article in there soon. I keep saying I'm going to sit down and write something, and I just can't seem to find the word. It's on my to-do list, but it's like way down here on my to-do. I got to write about. I actually have to write about it, but I rarely publish in the magazine. I usually publish online, which is just the way I do things. Online, I get it out in a week or so. In the magazine, they're very limited as far as space, and I have been in there several times, but
Yeah.
all right, I'll get something in there. All right, so take care. Thank you guys, all you people watching this. Make sure you leave your comments below. If you want to do one of these co-hosting, get in contact. And please, I'm really, really, really interested in listening to your comments.
I can't wait to see the comments.
So comment, people. Thanks, everyone.